Backwoods family. It's Aubrey Warren here, your festival fairy godmother and event director, and welcome to Behind Backwoods. This week, I'm talking to Keller Williams, and I'm so excited to have him here. Hey, Keller.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, man. I want to just get to know you a little bit better, if that's
Okay,
okay. All
sure.
right. So, if you were to describe yourself as a human and you couldn't use the words artist or musician, how would you describe yourself in the hats that you wear in your world?
I am a floating music lover, uh, dancing super freak.
I
Does that
love it.
work?
That
Good.
that works. That works. That works. You're also like a husband and a dad and that kind of stuff too, right?
Yep. That's all a part of it. I think that's absolutely all a part of it, and that's how I parent.
By being a super freak,
Yeah, a floating music loving super freak. It's all
floating
kind of
music lover.
yeah. It's kind of floating like physically. And then music is like air, and then Super Freak kind of teaches the children to be themselves and not to be embarrassed about anything. And I'm still working on it. And just like being a parent, it takes a village, and it takes sometimes a lifetime. You're a parent for life, so it's still happening.
Absolutely. And teaching kids to be authentic is not as easy in this day and age. And so I honor you for teaching those kids to let that freak flag fly early, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so out of curiosity, what was the first album you ever bought with your own money as a kid? And what
It's
what form of technology would it have been on?
It was a vinyl of Kiss Destroyer. Uh, and I want to say it was like $5.99 maybe. This was in the mid '70s, maybe I'm mid to late '70s, and I ended up um, taking in I think it was a sleeve of the vinyl, and reading Detroit Rock City by Kiss as a poem, and I have vivid memories of that, and actually, playing it on the record player, and then, you know, going to as a young kid going to lift the needle and flip over the record. There always be just like I'd rip across it. It's just these are strange memories that I haven't thought of in a long time. But yeah, Detroit Rock City. Get up, everybody's gonna move their feet. Get down, everybody's gonna leave their seat. You gotta lose your mind in Detroit Rock City. Mhm.
So, in regards to your music career, was the
Yep.
guitar the first instrument you ever played?
Apparently, as a kid, I had several stations that I would run around to during the day, and the first station would be the piano. I'd run up to the piano in the living room. And then from there, I would go to the kitchen with the pots and the pans. And after about 7 or 8 minutes of that, my mom would lead me to the living room, where I would set up all like the couch pillows and the seat cushions as like a giant uh, drum set. So after the 7 or 8 minutes of the pots and pans just driving her crazy, I would just use my mind and transform these pillows into a drum set, where I would just go around and hitting little throw pillows as cymbals.
How old were
Um,
you?
I was between like 3 and 6. I think that was the kind of that's what I'm told was the route. And during that time, I was watching whatever that was on television. My parents knew someone on Hee Haw, the old show with
Uh-huh.
Buck Owens and Roy Rogers, and so that became a big part of my life. And picking and grinning with Buck Owens and Roy Rogers, and I wanted a guitar. So I guess it was probably around that time where for a Christmas present, I got a small little, beginner guitar from, I think, Nichols was an old department store. And I didn't really learn how to play it for several years. I would just kind of hold it with the right. I'm right-handed, so I play, like I pick and with my right hand and chord with my left hand. But it was easier to hold left-handed, so I was holding it the neck with my right hand, and no strap or anything. And so I would always just pretend to play like that. And eventually, I wanted an electric guitar. So there was a hockey stick that kind of looked like electric guitar. A piece of twine would be the strap, and then there'd be extra twine on the end to simulate the cable. But finally, I was about 10 or 11, and I got to take lessons, and I went into this guitar lesson group beginner lesson. I was about 10, and I was, holding the guitar with the right, holding it with the right hand. Of course, it was strung like a left hand. And they were like, you're going to have to do this and turn it. And it was so foreign to me like that. I was just like, what? And so that didn't last at all. And then a couple years later, it was a friend showed me some cable, some chords. I was about 13, and then just started to take those chords and match them with the songs on the radio. And I think I was sitting on a stool with a coat and tie at happy hours, but by the time I was 16, playing silly classic rock covers to drunk 40, 50-year-olds at happy hour and getting paid. And I was like, damn, maybe I could do something with this. This is
14 or
fun.
15 years old, you were already getting gigs, paid
So
gigs?
16, yeah, 16. I picked it up at 13 and then obsessed over it. And then by the time I could drive, I was, late 16, was my first gig. And I did probably a couple of months, I think, in my local Fredericksburg area. And by the time I went to college in Virginia Beach area, I was 18, got into bands, and other friends at other colleges were in rushing fraternities, and I would go and play other colleges, and it just kind of started like that. It's just very much trying to avoid real work situation.
At what point in the game did you start writing your own music?
Well, I was in a talent show when I was 16 with an original song. This was after my band at the time had submitted a cassette tape and got denied to play the talent show at school. So I went back as with my own song, and they felt sorry for me and they let me in. So I guess it was probably 16, and the original songs were few and far between because I was doing these gigs where no one, if anyone was listening at all, they didn't want to hear something they didn't know. It's a situation like that to where you're kind of hired to create it, ambiance and keep people drinking or whatever.
Mhm.
And that was a huge, part of my life, I guess. And but the first record came out in I think I recorded it in '93, and it came out in '94. And once that happened, then I was really just focusing on, kind of the next record. It was still the romantic idea of a compilation of songs that are in a certain order. They're going to be listened to in that order, not knowing in the future that each song will be plucked out and some of the songs will never be heard, and it won't be listened to in order at all. But, I still hold on to that romantic idea of that, and to this day, and that was 20, no, 24, I don't know, 25 records ago.
Wow. What comes first for you, the lyrics or the music?
Well, there's songs where one or the other come first, and it's not like something that's where it's definitely one or the other.
Mm.
Sometimes it'll be like a phrase, or I'll come up with some kind of phrase, and I'm like, that could be a hook, and then I'll just start put that phrase in a melody. Other times it'll be just mindlessly doodling on guitar and come up with the progression, and then start kind of humming a melody, and then you kind of put words to those that hum. Whereas the first part was putting music to the melody that you've already created. So there's not like one specific thing that comes first. I'm lucky if it comes at all, really.
That's beautiful. I love that. Just being open to however creativity wants to move through you and being open to that. That's awesome.
Hmm.
So obviously we're talking here because you performed at this Backwoods and you've been with Backwoods for quite a while. I'm curious to know, did you ever attend a music festival before you found yourself playing at one?
Oh yeah.
Where'd you
Oh
go?
man. I went to the Telluride Bluegrass Festival starting in '95, and I think I went every year for like 6 years uh before I was able to get in for free. I guess on the seventh, maybe the seventh year, I got in for free to be a tweener, to where you kind of play on the side of the stage in between acts as they're setting up. And then the next year, I think I believe I got my own set. And then wow, there were festivals around here in Virginia and Maryland that I would go to. See, like Tim Walther is a promoter I've been working with for many, many years. And before I started working with him, he was doing festivals in the Maryland area. And sometimes they were just like day festivals, not necessarily camping, but multiple bands like on a stage in a field, very festival-esque. Um, so there's lots of those. And then I got into the Grateful Dead when I was about 16 or 17, and started to go and see multiple shows in a row. And I would work for 6 weeks and take all the money and then go see 10 Grateful Dead shows and limp home broke and start over. And that was very much of a festival situation. The like the campgrounds and the parking lots. That's kind of like where I think the festival idea kind of began, at least for the jam scene festivals and all the small festivals that have popped up over the years. I think a lot of it has to contribute with all the heads in the parking lots, and especially in the campgrounds. That was very festival like. But yeah, I was lucky to be part of the festival scene, and I can't imagine life without big gatherings like that every summer. Yeah, the pandemic was tricky mentally for a lot of people, because that went away, and we all felt it when it came back. We realized what we were missing and how important that scene is to a lot of people.
Yeah. I know the festival community has been life changing for my husband and for myself, and that's the reason why I'm with Backwoods, is because I'm a festie at heart and I have a love
Mm,
affair with Mulberry Mountain. And so I'm
yeah.
curious to know, when was your first time on Mulberry Mountain? Were you back in the Wakarusa days, or was Backwoods your first experience at Mulberry Mountain?
Um, I want to say that I went to one Wakarusa on Mulberry Mountain. I did 3 or 4 Wakarusa's when it was near Lawrence, Kansas, before they moved there. But I definitely was on I want to say some of the first festivals that were on that site. I remember this giant, the giant barn stage with the stage up about, so high up, and you look at it from a distance, and it can accommodate, thousands of people. And this was right in the beginning, and I can't remember the name of the festival or the promoter, but there was maybe 500 people there, at this
Oh, wow.
giant site, and I knew that this site was going to do something, and man, it was it. I've been there quite a lot, actually, and I think that by the time I got to go to a Wakarusa there, I'd been there a few times. Uh, this past couple times I've been, or I guess the last time I was there this year, the energy was super positive and super high, and it was a real treat to be on that site once again.
So when you come on site for like when you came on site this last time for Backwoods, are you like just in and out for your own show because you've got to get to another festival somewhere else, or did you have time to watch any other performances while you were on site?
I definitely was there a few hours early and got to see a few acts, and then stayed for um, Polish Ambassador.
You did. That was a great
I
set, wasn't
did.
it?
Yeah, yeah, it was super fun. It was super fun. And who was after? Oh, it was Floozies
The
that
Floozies.
was
You stayed
after.
for the
Yeah.
Floozies too?
I did not stay for the Floozies. I wanted to, but we had, got an hour drive back to the hotel. But I remember taking some kind of large handheld Bluetooth JBL speakers into the darkness of like the campground, away from where I would bother anyone, and just did like a little 20-minute DJ set with my cell phone. And I have some apps on there, and I've gotten really obsessed with it over the years, over the past year, and just went and did a little guerrilla set. About, I don't know, 9 people were dancing, and then we heard the music and turned off the speakers and went and danced to Polish Ambassador. But yeah, I have a habit of doing little pop-up shows under the name Hobby Weird, to just have fun with my weird hobby that I have.
Hobby
And
weird. Okay.
hobby weird, yeah, it's a kind of alter ego late night DJ uh, idea. I'm not actually jockeying discs, but just playing crazy dance music that I and sometimes only I enjoy.
Backwoods
Very
family, you heard it from the horse's mouth right here. Hobby Weird. If you ever hear the buzz that Hobby Weird is doing a secret set somewhere, now you know. Now you
I
know
don't
who the
know.
guy is behind Hobby
Maybe
Weird.
maybe Backwoods is just the right place for Hobby Weird to do a set someday. I don't know.
Oh,
Just an
oh,
idea. It's just an idea.
oh, that might be fun. That might be fun. What do you love about playing at music festivals specifically over than like playing just a random show here or there?
I think my favorite aspect of it is uh you're gonna have, or usually have a handful of folks, maybe more, that have never seen me before. Some have heard of me, some have never heard of me. Uh, and just turning on new folks, playing songs I've been playing for years, but they're brand new for folks that have never heard it, and just the reactions, and the energy and happiness of a happy festival crowd. Um, it's a very circular kind of energy thing. It goes right to me, and kind of it's just perpetuating, that kind of happiness and energy. I think that's absolutely my favorite part of it. That seeing a bunch of old friends that I only see at festivals, musicians and staff members, and a lot of the folks that work really hard on so many different aspects, like from artist catering to like backline folks. All these folks I've been seeing for years and years, and seeing familiar faces like that, and talking to folks that I only see at festivals. That's a real treat too.
I agree 110% to both things to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Finding new music is one of the best things of music festivals. And then you form like this other extended family, it's like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And so
Right.
find these people who are all attracted to the same kind of music. And that's like the energy that keeps you together. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So Keller, after many, many years of playing at Backwoods, while you have the attention of the Backwoods community right here, do you have any message, anything that you'd like to share from your heart, just anything you'd like to say directly to our community?
I think we are all in it for the right reasons. And I think that taking care of one another and being able to experience that togetherness and happiness and that vibe and energy in that kind of setting is such a treat. And I am just more than grateful to be a part of it when I am. And I think that the Backwoods community would do very well to have Hobby Weird perform at your festival. It could be in the daytime. It could be the first act, when it's 100 degrees and there's 100 reluctant people in front of the stage, because Hobby Weird needs to work the ranks. And no, just being there high up on that stage, looking, far in the distance and seeing the beauty and the energy and the happiness below me, it's a real, it feels like it should be illegal for me to be able to do what I do at Backwoods, and to experience that. And so thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. Thank you for blessing us with your music and your presence and your artistry and your joy and your creativity. It's a pleasure to watch you work your magic.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah, and I'm so grateful to have had this moment with you, just to get to know you a little bit better and to share the Keller Williams love with more of our Backwoods community, because we love listening to your music, and it's always nice to get to know you as a human too. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank
being
you so
here.
much. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.